Hi, I'm Whitney.
I'm Deanna.
And I'm Michael.
And you're watching
Word
of Mouth.
No, what I said was, I know what I said now, this is it. I said this. Yeah, well, maybe Steph hasn't got a face like that girl. Maybe her face is just regular, but I wouldn't trade her for $1 million, you know, something like that. I was just...
Regular.
Yes, that's all. Regular.
Okay. Tonight I saw Reasons to Be Pretty by Neil LaBute.
So the show starts in the bedroom of Greg and Steph, and they are having this huge fight, and you come in sort of right in the midst of it.
There's a new girl that works at his job with his friend Kent, and they were talking about her. Apparently she's hot, and he was saying that, you know, she's very good looking and not like his girlfriend who's just regular.
Carly calls up Stephanie and she tells her what he said.
You're seeing how this sort of like one small comment that I think Greg would have sort of thrown away and not ever even thought about again or even remember that he necessarily said it. And you see how that starts to translate not only in his own relationship, but how it actually starts to go into the relationship of his friends as well, and how it starts to sort of eat away at them.
Kent and Carly are married, and they are Steph and Greg's good friends. And they're you know, they put on this image like they are the perfect couple, and you know, they always try to stand up for one another, but behind closed doors, they also struggle with similar issues as Greg and Steph deal with. That comes out later in the play.
I think that this play is realistic about relationships and trust, and it kind of follows two very different relationships, very different people, and the course of their relationship, and you know what, and how they trust each other and how they work together.
So I thought, okay, this is going to get boring because you feel like you're just sort of watching somebody's life. It's like watching reality television, kind of. But it was. I mean, before I knew it was intermission, and then after intermission, the play was over. So it was very engaging. It kept you along. You were really interested in the conversation, and so I liked it.
I liked this play because it was very real to me, because I feel like this is really how people talk.
When Kent and Greg are talking, it's like I felt like it was two guys talking, and they were talking about stuff you would expect them to talk about and in a way that you would expect them to.
Thomas Sadowski played the role of Greg, who is really the lead in this play, and I thought he was hysterical.
I really liked the character. I thought he did it really well. I was sort of rooting for him.
I thought he could easily be a star in any, you know, really good comedy. I felt like he was like one of those guys that are in the Judd Apatow movies.
Stephen Pasquale, who plays Kent, was really funny. He's really great to watch on stage, and you really like his character.
He was my favorite. He was a jerk, and he played it well, and it was funny, and it was believable. And, you know, that's what you want.
For me, the guys made the show. Not only were they really cute, but it just was written very well for them, and they really stole the show, in my opinion.
The female characters I think they were fine, but they weren't, I don't know if they weren't as developed or they just weren't as interesting, but I really I think because I found myself so drawn to Greg, and Kent was such a funny guy, those are the ones that I was really looking to, and I feel like the two women sort of played off of that.
The play's about self-image and who's imposing these, you know, socially constructed ideas of what beauty is, but men. And so I think for the women to just sort of be, you know, actors in the man's play it's kind of symbolic.
It was really, really funny. I just felt like the Neil LaBute who wrote this, I felt like he is a great comedic writer. It kind of reminded me of a sitcom in a way. It was a 2-hour-long sitcom. If you like that show, How I Met Your Mother, it reminded me exactly of that show.
There were a couple of funny jokes. I mean, some people, you know, were belly over type laughing. In fact, I brought my boyfriend with me to see this play, and he thought it was hilarious.
It was really interesting to watch these characters. I think it was a really interesting story. I think it started to feel a little bit long toward the end. But I think, like I said, you really wanted to sort of follow Greg through and see what he did, and so that, for me, sort of felt like I was drawn in and that I was actually enjoying what I was watching.
I thought it was a cute play. It was funny, witty. It was smart. I liked it.
I thought the show was fantastic. I just felt like I could really connect with this, the subject matter, and I really felt like I could connect with everything that was going on in this play.
I would tell guys to see it because I think that a lot of guys would enjoy it and you know, think that it's witty and in a way that Broadway is not always thought to be.
I mean, I think women could go see it too if they want, but I think it's going to be more, like I said, focused on these sort of these two male characters, and so I think I think if you're interested in that and you want to see what sort of a typical guy's friendship looks like, then you'd want to go see the show.
I would tell people my age to see it. I think they would really enjoy it, and the humor is more young, and I don't think my parents would enjoy it. I think that a lot of it would go over their head or just wouldn't seem funny.
I would not recommend this to my mother. If you don't like the F word, then you don't want to see this show.
There's a lot of cursing and there's a lot of profanity, and I think that, you know, because it's a very angry play and, you know, there's a lot of fighting and arguing, it made it seem real.
Definitely leaving here tonight, I will put on my Facebook to go see this show, because I think that, you know, probably 80% of my friends on Facebook, you know, are gonna love it.
Thanks for, you know, whenever that was, very cool. What's that? Covering for me about Crystal?
Oh, right,
I appreciate it. That was quite an elaborate tale you came up with. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. You have afforded me some amazing times thanks to you doing that. Now, Carly goes to work, overcomes Crystal. Bam! Or me there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's different anyhow, inventive.